You gotta be flipping my flapjacks. Chicken, who I believe his real name is Ken, he says that Tesla's going to $60. No, for those of you that aren't keeping track at home, that's another 50% plus decline from here, from Tesla stock right here, okay? So I want to react to this one in this video here today and kind of give my opinion on that. That's a massive, massive statement by him, and I will react to that and I'll kind of give my opinion, okay? Second video I want to react to here is Jim Cramer talking about it's good that market enthusiasm is basically done around Tesla, and I want to kind of give my perspective on that and kind of how I think this whole thing's going to roll out. But this is a big statement, man. I thought there's no way I couldn't cover this on this channel here today. And by the way, thank you everybody that subscribed. Now over 20,000 subscribers on this channel. I appreciate all you, and even when the choppers are flying over, I appreciate you. I threw on the Tesla hoodie for this one, and let me know what you think about Chicken's prediction here, because it is a big one. $60, man. Oh my gosh. Okay, and let's go ahead and get into this. Hope you guys enjoy it as always. Let's go.
See, my video is not good. Elon Musk just gave a big hint and it's not good. Am I happy that my prediction of Tesla's stock at 140 coming true after 9 months? No. More people got hurt. Even the toxic haters stopped shitting on me. Come on. Elon just went on Twitter Space and talked about prioritizing car sales over margins. Here's the clip.
Do you want to grow unit volume, in which case you'll have to adjust prices downward? Or do you want to grow at a lower rate or go steady? It's sort of a choice there. My bias would be to say, like, okay, let's grow as fast as we can without putting the company at risk, which would mean, you know, in that scenario, profits would be low to negative during a recession.
Profits low to negative in a recession, and I think that is definitely a tough decision Tesla has to make. And I think if Tesla's really focused on the long term, I think you have to kind of bite the bullet, to be quite frank, in the short term, and take those margin hits and take those profitability hits in the short term to gain a much bigger market share in the end, right? We know the other automakers run on super slim margins. We know Tesla runs on massive margins, right? So Tesla could easily take margin hits and actually still be profitable and still be selling cars for a profit. But what we do know is that other automakers can't do that. If other automakers were to try to slash prices in any significant way, they start to lose money every single time they sell a car. So Tesla, in actually a recessionary environment, essentially could actually take big market share. And in my opinion, they should. Because at the end of the day, if the price point's somewhat similar for two vehicles, Tesla's going to win almost every single time. Whether we're talking cars, SUVs, or when they actually have Cybertruck, if it's a Tesla product versus a comparable new product, right? Tesla's going to win almost every single time, as long as the price is somewhat similar, right? So in my opinion, Tesla should keep the eye on the prize long term here. And I know it would hurt margins and hurt profitability in the short term. But as we've learned from Amazon over time, which I've always felt like Amazon's the most direct comp to Tesla, sometimes you got to take those short-term hits to your profitability and your margins for the long-term epic gain for the company overall.
The cash position is okay. I think that's still the right move long-term.
This means he wants to sell every Tesla car they make, and the only way is to reduce price, so profit margins will be impacted. Here's the clip.
So in order to keep demand constant, you would have to therefore decrease the price of the car. It's the only that's if you want to keep demand constant, and if you want to increase demand, you have to decrease the price of the car further. This is like Econ 101 stuff.
Months back, I talked about demand destruction, and this is the most dangerous part of the cycle. Valuations are priced in, forward growth is priced in, but earnings are not priced in yet. So for me, I think Tesla is cheap enough to own some shares. At the same time, I think it's only like 5% of my position. At the most, I'll increase it to 10%. My focus is elsewhere for extra alpha, extra money. Again, it's not the time to be ultra bullish. There is tightening, there's QT ongoing. The time will come, so patience. Follow my Twitter for my latest thoughts and my moves. I don't do videos that often.
Yeah, I'm a little confused because this video came out 9 hours ago, but I looked at his Twitter, and his Twitter is basically showed screenshots that he bought Tesla a few days ago. I think when it fell, I believe when it fell just under $140. But then he also said he just sold the shares. So I'm a little confused if he even has a position in Tesla, or if he does, how big of a position. It's a little confusing. $60. Let's talk about this. Do I think Tesla stock's going to $60? In terms of the stock market and judging these things, you always got to put them on a probability scale, essentially, right? Because everything's possible in the stock market. I think it is a possibility if we saw the economy completely fall apart. I'm talking about like unemployment going to like 10% or something, and just things getting dramatically bad really, really quickly. Dow and S&P getting hit another 25 to 30 percentage points. If we saw something epic like that, I think it's definitely a possibility. Do I think it's probable? Probably not. I don't think it's very realistic that Tesla's going to $60. I think it is realistic that Tesla could go to anywhere from $90 to $100 if this fear mounts more and more. We get a much bigger sell-off. Let's say in the first quarter of 2023, people really start to freak out about recession fears. The market really moves aggressively toward recession fears and out of inflation fears. Everybody stops paying attention to inflation. So even though the inflation numbers could be going down, no one cares, and that's not good news. Everybody's just thinking about recession. I think in that sort of environment, you could see Tesla go to like $90 to maybe $100. If we don't get the recession fears amped up in any meaningful way, then Tesla is probably in a bottoming out process as of right now, right? So my opinion is I think Tesla probably goes lower before higher. I think it's going to be a grind of a year for Tesla in terms of 2023 numbers, revenue. I've spoken about that, I think, 100 times recently, and everybody that watches my Tesla videos, you know my opinion on that is that Tesla's going to, I think it's good. If they can grow 20% revenues in 2023, I'll be a very happy person. You know, analysts have them growing around 40%. Elon always talks about 50%. I think it's going to be not a good year for Tesla in regards to their numbers. I don't think they're going to be impressive whatsoever. But with that being said, the stock's already been hit significantly. The valuation's pulled in a major way. And we do have to remember, the fact is, 2022 has kind of gotten rid of a lot of the short-term speculators around Tesla stock. So we've flooded out of those folks now. So now in terms of 2023, in my opinion, if you're going to talk about major selling pressure on that stock, it would come from longs, like super longs on Tesla stock. People that are like, you know, love this company for the next 5-10 years. You're going to have to count on those people selling and dumping shares, and simultaneously other longs like myself deciding not to buy. Now, for me, I'm going to be a buyer of Tesla stock in 2023. I think it's going to be one of the few years you get a very good opportunity to add Tesla shares at significant discounts. Obviously, right? This company was valued over $1 trillion, and obviously today it's valued at $300-something billion, right? And if you talk about it's going lower, then you could talk about 350, 300, something like that, right? On a company that's on a runway to grow to a $500 billion type revenue company, if not, by the end of the decade, maybe approaching $1 trillion at some point in time down the road, right? And if you're talking about a company that has margin wiggle room, they're that sort of company, right? So you would need the big time long-term bulls to sell and decide not to buy, to put that sort of immense selling pressure continued on this stock. And I think it's a possibility, but I think it's more of a little more far-fetched. So that's my opinion on it. I think it's a possibility. I don't think it's the most realistic scenario. I think the most realistic scenario is the stock maybe goes to the $90 to $100 range. However, I'd be more than happy if the shares went to $60. As somebody that's a buyer of that stock in 2023, and for the first time since 2019, right? I'll definitely be in favor if it was to go to that. So I kind of hope his prediction comes true, but I think he might be a little too bearish on kind of that side right now. So that's kind of my perspective on that, and I'd love to hear your guys' opinion as well in that comment section. Okay, next video up here, Jim Cramer talking about Tesla. Okay, let's hear what Cramer has to say
about Tesla. You have to remember this was a stock that was $839 billion, all-time high here. Wow, 1.2 trillion.
Yeah, I was about to say, whoa, Cramer, your numbers are way off. Yeah, 1.2 trillion. That's
trillion. Now, the problem with that, Carl, now it's down to 414, is that's real money by retail. Now, of course, there's S&P was added to the S&P. But
Whoa. No. Okay, whoa, Jim Cramer, hold your flipping flapjack and horsies for a second, okay? If you think that's just retail pushed that baby up to a $1.2 trillion market cap, no, sir, okay? No, sir. Is Tesla a massive stock in the retail community? Absolutely. But to say retail pushed that baby, no, okay? At the end of the day, Tesla had some of the most insane growth you can find, right? And the numbers this year have been incredible for Tesla. So you're talking about a company with 50% plus revenue growth, EPS growth far exceeding that. You know, some of these past years, if you look at their EPS growth, 200%, 80%, like incredible numbers, right? And you have one of the most exciting long-term stories. Like, think about like the most exciting companies to be in over the next 5-10 years. Tesla's that. So they met the story, they met the numbers, some of the most exciting numbers, most incredible numbers, right? And obviously a lot more than just retail money's going to come in. You're going to have speculators come into this, traders come into this, and ultimately you'll have big funds come into this. That's how you get that baby to a $1.2 trillion market cap.
$0.2 trillion. It was probably, I think, for this era, the greatest of this year or so. Okay, this era ended, but this was, and it wasn't a con by any means. It was the greatest excitement I've ever seen, and the excitement is over. And I don't think his statement creates new excitement. I think his statement is just like, okay, listen, I know that the horse is out of the barn, but I am going to stop. Maybe there'll be some people who want to rebuild, but next year there's a lot of competition. Look, I'm not going to say Tesla's done because it's too good a company. I am saying the enthusiasm is done. And maybe that's good. There's a lot of stocks where we got way too enthusiastic, and that's what's happened. So I think retail in many ways has been crushed. Look, NVIDIA's one of my favorites.
Okay, wait. In terms of enthusiasm, Tesla definitely goes through these kind of cycles of like, it's super exciting, and then like, you know, it's kind of in this like trough period where people aren't that excited about the stock, right? And even if the numbers are all adding up, like it just goes through those sorts of cycles of like pure excitement to like not much excitement, right? But we got something coming, and it's coming sooner rather than later in regards to that next excitement cycle around Tesla. That's Cybertruck. And so that's going to go into production, let's say mid-2023. And that's some sort of production, right? In terms of mass production, you're probably not getting that till first quarter of 2024, okay? So when those Cybertrucks start to hit the road, let's not forget, this is the most hyped, exciting vehicle to hit the road ever, and by a lot. There's not even a number two closest in the history of mankind, and then maybe when the Model T came out by Ford, there's not even a close number two. The closest number two in terms of excitement for a new vehicle that ever hit the market was Model 3, which was also a Tesla vehicle. So there's Cybertruck, then there's like Model 3 here, and then every other vehicle that's ever come out from any auto manufacturer ever is like on the ground compared to the excitement, the pre-orders, the want for that vehicle, okay? So when Cybertruck hits, believe me, anybody that has money, discretionary money to spend, is going to buy a Cybertruck because that is the most exciting potentially product to come out of any company in a long time, okay? And I know it was always a lot of debate about people either hated it or loved it, or it didn't matter. Like, all that matters is enough people love it to produce eventually 1 million of those a year, 2 million, 3 million, right? That's all that matters. All you need is a few million people to want that vehicle and have the money to buy that vehicle. That's all that matters. It's the most talked about vehicle in the history of mankind by a lot. And so we got to understand that vehicle is going into production in 2023. And that will start the next excitement cycle around Tesla. Short term, it will hurt Tesla's numbers. It will hurt Tesla's profitability. We know when Tesla launches a brand new vehicle like that, it hurts their profitability in the short term and sometimes their cash flow and things like that, right? And so that's something to keep in mind. But let's not forget, you know, there's never been something bigger that's coming in terms of a vehicle launch ever, from Tesla or any other company, okay? So just wait for that baby to hit. Here's the thing, I don't even like trucks. I'm still going to get a Cybertruck. Like, I'm not even a truck lover. Like, I personally like cars and I like SUVs. That's always been me, right? I'm going to buy a Cybertruck just because it's that dang cool. You know how many me's there are out there that are literally just going to buy that truck because it's awesome? And never mind the truck lovers that obviously are going to get it, which we know. You look at F-150 series, like how well that sells, and the F series in general. Like, it's the most exciting product to come out probably since the iPhone in terms of just excitement and like people going crazy over it, right? Talk and debate and all these sorts of things, man. And so it's going into production 2023, Cramer. We're going to have another enthusiastic cycle around it.
That was at $798 billion. That's just crazy. It was at $798 billion. It's now substantially lower. I mean, you've got to cut it in half.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus, Tesla Tesla's 1.2 and went down to 395.
Yeah. Well, you look at it. Do a year-to-date Bitcoin versus Tesla. The declines are about the same for 2022.
These declines, Amazon 55, Alphabet 42, Meta 69. Microsoft only 31 only. Can you imagine? NVIDIA 55, Tesla 69. That's the end of retail. Okay, that's the end of retail as we know it. It's the second time within 13 years that retail's been blown out. And they're not coming back. And so it doesn't matter. He can say whatever he wants. I mean, it's just like Adam Aaron.
Jim Cramer, stop the cap, sir. Let's just knock it off, okay? Just knock it off. Retail will be back in the next hype cycle, unfortunately. Now, there's going to be core communities like my community and some other folks that are going to stay in the market and are going to stay invested and are going to make a lot of money over the next 5-10 years. But unfortunately, there will be another massive cycle. We know, we've seen it. We watched in the tech bubble. We watched it, in the past year. The problem is what will happen is, folks wait till the last second. They're going to wait till the market's at new all-time highs and everybody's making money and those sorts of things again to get back in the market, and they'll have unfortunately missed the big money, because the big money's not made at the very end of a bull cycle. The big money's made when everything's crashing and the people that are loading up on those assets at extreme discounts, and then for those next few years of that bull cycle. The people that get in at the very end of the bull cycle that always ends up happening are the ones that unfortunately get screwed over, right? And they're the ones that, are trying to get that last like 10-20% out of these stocks, and it next thing you know, the Fed has to slow down the economy or something happens that no one expected, and next thing you know, you got a major down cycle that lasts 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, 36 months, depending upon how vicious of a cycle it is, right? So yeah, to act like retail is never going to be back, no, they'll be back. They'll be back. That's all I have to say about that. It's just it'll be a while until we get one of those epic bull cycles like we got obviously at the very end of 2020 and into 2021. That could be 10-20 years until we get one of those, but it will happen again.
He can say whatever he wants. I mean, it doesn't matter. Ryan Cohen can say whatever he wants. The enthusiasm is over. And when you talk about the stock market now with people, they very quickly change the conversation to anything but the stock market. Sports, politics.
Well, look at what B of A said this morning about weekly outflows. I mean, new records on that front. But does Tesla, we talked about this with Mark Fields yesterday on Closing Bell, does it command a premium because of its supply chain agility, lack of a dealer network, no advertising?
Yes, but a premium to what? That's the problem. I mean, to Ford?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, look, Ford is going to have 50,000 EVs. They have some really good EVs, I think, by this time next year rolling out. And that means that for the first time, you're going to have to see, I believe, advertising for Tesla. I think they have to advertise. They about have a 66% share, and if you really have a heavy Ford and GM EV in scale, then Tesla's going to have a more expensive business model, and I think that's what's going to happen.
Advertising, no. Tesla does not need any more advertising. They have the most hype talked about products of any auto manufacturer by a mile. The last thing they need to do is spend any money on marketing. And never mind, Elon Musk is the subject of conversation every other day by every single human walking the face of the planet. Okay? So, no, Cramer. That's just that's just straight up ridiculous. Like, straight up ridiculous. That's all I have to say about that.
No, Carl, I just am looking at the twilight, the peak to trough twilight of Fat Man. That's what we call it, Fat Man. Facebook, Amazon.
Yeah, yes. Well, if Tesla were to have a multiple in line with Ford's, I think I have this right. It would take it to $16. You're not calling for that.
Oh, no. I'm just saying. What I'm saying is that a stock that's at $395 billion, it could go to $295 billion. I mean, that's what happened. Like, sure. Stocks became, whatever people wanted them to be. and you'll have a Kathy Wood.
And now they're whatever people want them to be as well on the valuation downside. All these stocks are way overshooting to the downside and could continue to for the next 1 to 2 quarters. They're all way overselling. I don't care if you look at the technicals. I don't care if you're talking about the fundamentals, the valuations. I don't care what you look at. They're all overshooting bad. And everybody is pretending like, 2023 is going to be what the rest of human history is like when that's just not the reality, right? And that's what happens in one of these cycles. They all overshot to the upside. We know that. Tesla shouldn't have been trading at a $1.2 trillion market cap with obviously risk to, the Fed potentially raising rates and what that could do to the economy. We know that, right? Shopify shouldn't have got up to the valuation it did. Amazon probably shouldn't have. All these stocks. And we still got bubbles to blow up in this market. That's the scariest part. McDonald's is a bubble. McDonald's stock is a bubble. I'm going to have to do a whole video on that. Maybe if I got energy over this weekend, it's Christmas, so I'm going to be celebrating the family. But I'm going to have to do a whole video on McDonald's as a bubble and talk about how many of the Dow stocks are literally in a bubble right now. Right now. Not a year ago. Now. As big of bubbles as Tesla and any of these other stocks that had to come down 50, 60%, 70%. That's the craziest thing. I might have to do a whole full-scale video about that. That's nuts, and I'm going to have to even cover that. But anyways, that's my opinion on that.
And, well, that's what this is. And then you'll have another person come and say, that's what I mean, Dan Ives. I mean, there's no rigor. There's no rigor to anything. They're just like, Tesla, let me tell you something. Feels like 360. I mean, honestly.
And it's the same thing on the downside now. Everybody, we can do that again. Kramer, okay? Tesla, $16. Tesla, $60. Tesla, $40. $20. $100. $90. Like, it's the same thing that happens on the upside happens on the downside, okay? So I think that's important to remember. You can't act like you can't play it like it only happens on the upside. It happens on the downside as well. People just start throwing out any price, right? When you're in a downtrending, vicious bear market where everything's just collapsing, people just start throwing out any price on any stock. Amazon, it's going to $40. $60. It's the same thing, man. And it's all ridiculous. On the upside, it wasn't priced properly. Now it's not priced properly either. And that's in regards to Tesla or honestly, a lot of these stocks now at this point in time.
I was taught by Lee Cooperman that there had to be a reason why something sold where it sold. Well, this was the year where that wasn't true.
Yeah, and like I said, it happens on both sides, so we can't pretend like it doesn't. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know your opinion in the comment section. Obviously, very divisive subject, and I love to always kind of read through everybody's comments. Appreciate you joining me. 20,000 plus subscribers. Thank you for being here, guys. Much love, and have a great day.